Hello and welcome to another CK3 Dev Diary video. So before we get into today's Dev Diary, just want to go over some of the things that were said in the comment section of the last diary by the devs. Most of it, it's all just in a single comment, but how does legacies work in terms of mixing and matching? That is, when I accumulate enough renown for a legacy pick, can I take any that's available to me, or when I start down a track, am I locked until I finish it? So you can take any, but you're going to want to progress down the entire track before starting a new one. Legacies at the end are much more powerful than the ones at the start. AI characters are motivated to create houses of their own, so we get to see glorious spawning dynasties duking it out in most games. Yes. Not sure how I feel about national idea-esque legacies that enforce certain outcomes. Someone complained it might be magic in CK2 was too silly. Might feel the same about family renown enough that everyone is born an attractive genius 5'7" giant. 5'7" is not giant. That's smaller than me. I guess maybe back in the time it was, though. However, House and Dynasty stuff does sound exciting. A strategy game of tiered rulers is a strategy game of tiered rulers. And always fun. Words, I don't know, whatever. This an added level of particular politics looks like fun, and those juicy possibilities to splinter, count me in. You don't have to worry about the legacies enforcing outcomes out like that. They just nudge the probabilities. They don't guarantee anything. We don't want everyone in a dynasty to be clones of each other, but we want them to reinforce different types of gameplay, i.e. a dynasty of lawmakers would probably make very good vassals, etc. If you found a house, can you choose the name, coat of arms and motto? Of course. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get on to today's Dev Diary, which is on the medieval map. And we've seen this picture in the background before, but hopefully we'll get some more screenshots. Hello everyone. I'd like to take a moment to talk about the map of Crusader Kings 3, what the vision for the map is, and how it's different from CK2. Let's start with our ambitions. CK2 had several parts of the map that were outdated, and to be frank, a little bit underdeveloped. When we started to update the map for CK3, we knew that we wanted to take a pass at everything, do additional research and update the different areas accordingly. This goes for the entire de jure title hierarchy, so there are now several new kingdoms and duchies present. In terms of scope, the map will roughly match that of CK2. I know I will disappoint those of you hoping for China, but sadly, it will not be on the map. Yet. I'm still holding out hope that we'll see China eventually. We will, however, have a few new additions. The entirety of Tibet will be present, unlike CK2 where the most eastern parts were excluded, and sub-Saharan Africa is also extended where we've gone all the way to the Nigerian coast. Very nice. When setting the map visuals, the province layout, rivers and more, the focus has always been on clarity. The map should be easy to read and get information from. For example, you should be able to read most of the terrain simply by looking at the map, without the need to click on the province or tooltip it in order to find that out, while rivers should be easy to see and let you know if you'll cross one when moving armies around. We represent the map on 3 different zoom levels. When zoomed far out, the map will turn into an actual paper map, allowing for an easy overview and stylish screenshots. Zoom in a bit and you'll have a 3D map with the typical political overlay, great for interacting with your vassals and other realms. Zoom in even further and you'll see the names of all the counties, along with terrain as we strip away the realm colours. Perfect for moving armies around and knowing where to pick your battles without the need to switch around to look at different map modes. But don't worry, we still have several map modes easily accessing different information. To talk about map modes just a moment, just like in Imperator, unfortunately, in my opinion, WASD is going to be used to move the map around. So, unlike in EU4 and CK2, where W would be the political map mode, and having literally thousands of hours in both of those games, I'm incredibly sad that that's not the case in Imperator or in CK3. W is going to be moved north, and that's stupid, and I don't like it. But oh well. Hopefully we can hope that some options will be added instead of just forcing the inferior method of map movement. Middle mouse button, click and drag. It's the best. Don't at me. One of the most notable changes is how we handle baronies. In CK2, counties were the smallest entity we had on the map, a province if you will, with several baronies represented through the interface the country view. In CK3, we took the next logical step and made baronies into their own provinces. We've been able to create a map with much more granularity and better accuracy. Most counties will normally consist of 2 to 5 baronies, with some exceptions. The amount of provinces will be notable when waging war, and it offers a larger degree of movement for your armies. More on that in the future. So we can see Norfolk and Suffolk, and they are split up. And, you know, I like it. I think it's good. Quite like that they're being... You can actually interact with the baronies on the map instead of through some crappy-looking UI. Anyway, to give you a good idea of the increased province density, here is a comparison of the British Isles in CK2 and CK3, being on the left and right side respectively. And this would be so much more useful if they were at the same scale, if the actual island was as big in each screenshot, but the CK3 British Isles is just slightly bigger, and so you can... You know, these provinces are even smaller than they would usually be. Not by much, but you know, whatever. But yeah, it's looking fairly cool. I like it. Before you all go nuts about playable baronies, no, you cannot play as a baron. The lowest playable rank will still be that of a count. The emphasis will therefore be on the counties rather than the individual baronies. As such, baronies exist with a few things in mind. For example, they never leave a county. This means counties stay the same over time, avoiding weird splits where a single barony goes independent or to another realm, reducing that heinous border gore. Sorry, hideous. It's also heinous, but it is hideous. Ever so slightly. The number of baronies within a county is one factor that represents its wealth and how good it is. Another important factor is the terrain. A county with a lot of desert will not be as beneficial as one with lots of farmlands, for example. Some people might be slightly sad about this, that baronies won't leave, but personally, I actually really like that change. It might not be entirely historically accurate, and, you know, Bordegore is pretty historical, unfortunately. Just look at the Holy Roman Empire. But, having said that, it looks better, and it'll play better, so I don't care. Some people are salty already in the comments on the forums, but I don't care. I like this change. Speaking of terrain, we have several different terrain types spread out across the map. Instead of having a single terrain spread out across large areas of the map, we differentiate between similar terrain types by separating them, such as forest and taiga or plains and drylands. Not only does it make the map look and feel distinct in different parts of the world, they'll also have a different impact on gameplay. So we can see here, this one's actually an interesting screenshot. This is where London is. That's the River Thames in the centre. And you can see that the River Thames is a major river. And you can see that there are bridges over the river. Those bridges indicate the straits where you can cross the river. You can't cross, for example, on the far western side of, you know, the largest part of the river. You can only cross over the bridges, and that's pretty cool, because that's where you want to put your forts. But yeah, I think that looks really, really nice. I'm very, very happy with that, especially the bridges. It's so much better than just a dashed line, like a lot better. What I would say though is the river would look better if it didn't have that black kind of outline thing during the part where the river is smaller and not a major river. I think it would be much, much better if that was removed and it was just... you can tell. You can tell when the river gets larger even without that. I just think it would just look better. Anyway. And I think this is North Africa somewhere, but I couldn't pinpoint where exactly it was, but you can see the difference between, you know, desert. I assume this part is going to be plains. No, maybe this one's plains. And sorry about the bloody thing moving backwards and forwards. My apologies. But yeah, I think it looks good. These two are definitely different terrain types, of course. But they blend in pretty well. I mean, you can see the blend here. I think they blend in really nicely. So what were the differences up here? Plains and drylands, yeah. So you're going to have plains and drylands, and maybe you'll get different food amounts if food is ever a thing. Hopefully it's a thing. Food should always be a thing. Then we have impassable terrain. These are far more frequent and in many cases much larger than you will be used to from CK2. We essentially use these for any area that we consider uninhabited enough to warrant it not being a part of an existing country. Some areas have plenty of smaller impassable provinces, such as the mountains surrounding Bohemia, hopefully the Alps as well, while others have fewer and far larger pieces of inhospitable land, such as the deserts of Arabia and Syria. Impassable terrain cannot be traversed by armies, often creating bottlenecks that you'll have to pass through, or perhaps even choose to go around should it be heavily fortified. What I will say is, Syria perhaps shouldn't be impassable, because the deserts of Syria is where oh my god, what's his name? The Arabian general, one of the best generals of all time, the guy who filled his camels full of water and strapped their mouths together, and crossing the desert took like 6 or 8 days or something, and they had to keep killing the camels to empty their stomachs of water so that their army wouldn't die of thirst crossing the desert. I can't remember the general's name, but he crossed across the Syrian desert and took the Byzantines completely by surprise by doing so. So maybe Syria shouldn't be entirely impassable, or, whatever. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this early sneak peek of the map, and I'll be sure to show you more in the future. And, alright, that's alright. I like it. The map does look really nice, but I wish we just had more. We've seen very, very zoomed in things. I want to see zoomed out. I want to see what the map looks like from a distance in various places. France especially, I assume there's going to be a lot of farmlands around northern France. I want to see that, and I'm sure we will in time, but unfortunately not just yet. There are some comments that we want to go through as well. So this is the same thing we just read, but instead of it being the CK3 website, it's the forums. The fonts are amazing. Thank you. I believe you managed to settle on a font that not only looks good, but feels very medieval as well. Yeah, I do like the font. It's very nice, and I still want to know the name of it so I can use it for thumbnails. We'll be able to change the terrain through scripts as a result of events and whatnot. No. Do the bridges on the Thames indicate major rivers will no longer be crossed at any point in CK3? That is indeed the case. Major rivers have designated fords that allow for crossing. Lovely. Am I correct in thinking I see empty baronies where I'll be able to construct additional cities, temples, castles? Same as empty holding slots in CK2? Yes. Not all holdings will be constructed at game start, so you'll be able to build them later on in the game. This has already been confirmed. So, blah, do your research or something. Fritz says, I was hoping we'd be able to see the Mediterranean though. Not disappointed, the map is beautiful and stunning. I love it, great job. Also happy with the expansion for all of Tibet. Does that mean we're getting more of Mongolia too? Yes, we are indeed getting Mongolia, or more of Mongolia as well. When you say the baronies will always be a part of the county, does that mean we can't transfer the baron level vassals to other vassals anymore? Or the baronies will always be de jure to a specific county? The former. You can't transfer barony vassals out of a given country, and the county holder will always be that baron's liege, and I like that, so I'm going to chuck him an agree. Everything in the dev diary is so good. Can I have a screenshot of the HRA? I'd love that as well, but no, we have to wait. But can we still inherit baronies from other counties and detach them as our direct vassals? No, you can't. He doesn't seem to get the idea. You can still inherit baronies from your own counties, but not from a county belonging to someone else. If such a situation would happen, it'll be inherited by the county holder instead. Good. I like that so much. May I also ask if the barons themselves are characters like they worked in CK2, or do they work as a community or building in an effort to reduce the overpopulation chances? They are still very much held by actual characters, we just put less emphasis on them. So yeah, that's good stuff. I like it. I would love to know, however, what you guys think, so please do leave me some comments in the comment section below. I want to know what you think about this, because I am really quite liking it. I think the map looks beautiful. I like the changes to, seeing baronies on the map. I think the actual icons for them look really good. and I'm really quite excited. So I'd love to hear what you think, so leave me some comments in the comment section below. If you like the video, click like, and if you want to keep up to date with all CK3 news, then, subscribe. That might be a useful thing to do, because I'm going over it all. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.